Today, reading in Oswald Chambers, it says, "Are you discouraged or devoted?" And it says, it's from Luke 18:22-23. Jesus said to him, You still lack one thing. Sell all that you have and come follow me." But when he heard this, he became very sorrowful, for he was very rich. Wow. Oswald starts off with, "Have you ever heard the master say something very difficult to you? If you haven't, I question whether you've heard him say anything at all." Not only have we heard him say something very difficult, but he said this very thing to us. He wasn't being hard on us, but he said, "Sell everything you got and come with me." And everything we had for him was ministry, a life in Washington, D.C., business, name, whether or not we were successful, because leaving there with so little intact at the time. I mean, I know it looks great now, but when we were leaving, nothing was intact. The business wasn't taking off. Ministry looked in many ways like a failure, even though now we've seen so many people and so many, relationships and even church plants that have been coming up from some of the stuff we've done. It all looked like a failure. It all looked like it had come to an end. Everything did not look like a success. And we left it there on the altar in our hearts. And the Lord led us to move here. He didn't give us details. He didn't give us all the steps. He didn't even tell us how everything would work out. We still haven't even sold our house. We knew we had to leave. He gave us a date of June 30th. How could we know that that'd be the exact same date that everything would take off in business? And of course, in the months preceding, ministry took off through ministering local churches there in Frederick, Maryland, Thurmont, as well as other relationships through groups we're working with, like the SAR and the food bank, which those stories are amazing. What came out of that, we didn't know it all happened. We had no idea that it would take off. At the point where God told us to move in January 1, literally on New Year's Day, we dropped everything and we became obedient, submissive to His will. And we didn't see it working out. We didn't know everything was going to fall in place. We couldn't have known. And everything hasn't fallen in place yet. We still haven't sold our house. We still had so many things that haven't worked. But we knew that He said be obedient, and radical obedience to Jesus Christ is always success. We can't look at all the other successes in the world. It's something I've said over and over and over again. It's now in Lori's vernacular. Obedience to Jesus is always success. He says, sell it all, leave it all, move. Don't even know where you're going. We're not even in our final house. We're staying in my brother's rental house. That's radical obedience to Jesus. And I'm not saying we're awesome, we're all that, whatever. We're struggling spiritually in some different ways, but that struggle is what produces growth. Anyone that knows anything about lifting weights, when you lift weights and it tears the muscles inside of your muscle, and then they expand and grow and get stronger. God has to put us through those struggles so that our spiritual muscles get torn and they increase in size and they hold more and they're able to take more. He's increasing our capacity to take struggle and stress and strain and still break through into joy and be obedient. So at the end of the day, all I can say is this: radical obedience is always, 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 always success in Jesus's kingdom. And He will give you joy in the middle of it, and it'll all be worth it in the end. You'll always see it'll all be worth it in the end. It may not be something that pays off in you, but you'll know it when you see it. You get then you go, whoa, that's it. This was God. This weekend, there's stuff that came out that's starting to prove what might be the reason for all of this in the end. We're not getting our hopes up, but we're still seeing that God is starting to turn things around. I can't wait to tell more about that, but here it comes.